Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011111911.
Jeremy here. It's KZOZ. Thanks for writing in on the 805 Beer text lines. A couple texts coming in about our conversation, and including one from Toe Kick J, who says, did this just turn into The View? Sorry, it did get a little bitchy there for a minute because we both feel very different about
I don't feel very different about it. I told you I would side with you on the fact that, yeah, the mom is probably more at fault in this one.
Yeah, being a little bit so. Because the birthday is your day.
But
right? Everybody says,
I don't. I see. I don't go that quite that far. But Santa Cruz Cindy does. She says she's not being selfish. She's got two grown boys, but the birthday should be your ultimate self day. Birthday parties are for the person. That means whatever the birthday person wants, they get.
I could have swore you told me once on your birthday you just wanted to be alone. You just wanted to go play golf, or you just wanted to.
What I want and what I get are two different things, though.
Yeah, I get it.
The Rolling Stones wrote a song about that.
They did. Very popular song. Let's see. So outside of that, we've been talking a lot about what's going on with the fires. The death count is up to 24 now this morning.
Oof.
More of these 70-plus mile an hour winds are forecasted for the area up until Wednesday. Our poll question today, brought to you by Justin Stearns at Assist Home Loans. Do you think Governor Gavin Newsom's mismanagement of this situation will end his political career? And 60% of people are saying yes, it's time to move on. 40% of people, 40% have said, no, I'll give him another chance. 40%. That's not enough for you.
No, it should be. I would have thought it'd been like 5%.
40.
40 is a big number.
40% of people, yeah.
Good morning, KZOZ.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
How come you're not talking about the dad just staying home with the baby?
I mean, that's a possibility too. The thing is, I mean, shouldn't the mom?
I didn't quite hear what he said.
He said, "Why don't you talk about the father looking after the baby?"
He's not in the picture.
He's not.
No.
At a
Single
month.
Mom.
At a month. Wow.
Single mom. Yeah,
so then, yes, I definitely ban her from the birthday party because that's too much baggage coming along right there. To be honest with you, but no, to like. I don't know. Moms like to bond during that time. A month is too young. I think she should have probably said, you know what? It's only been a month. Probably the best thing to do here is just skip this one.
See, this is why I keep saying your tunnel focus is because, thanks for the call, you're so focused on the parent aspect of this instead of the friend aspect of it. See, I'm looking at it more as my friend's having a birthday party. She invited me, but she would like me to come by myself. No kids, because there's going to be alcohol, adults. There's going to be adult words. It's just going to be an adult
point,
party.
Though, doesn't it become a
that's
power
more
play?
Of a disrespect to a friend than it is. Is the
friend going to be understanding if the mom says, "Well, my baby's only 4 weeks old. Probably should spend time with the baby."
No, that's fine. Then don't come to my party. I totally understand. I'll have other birthday parties. We'll hang out.
But
time
you seem almost
when you can
mad.
Wrangle a man to watch your baby.
You seem almost mad about that.
I'm not mad about that at all. No.
You're like, fine, just come to another birthday party.
She was like, no, I'm coming to your party and I'm bringing my baby. Like, oh God. And you know what? If it's my party and somebody just had a baby, then all the attention's going to be on them, and I want it to be on me. Damn it!
It also depends on the mother, and I don't think she's quite there yet. If she's only got a month-old baby, and she is looking to take it to a birthday party, that's wildly irresponsible. There are some people that bring their kids around, and their kids are like you wouldn't even know that they were there. I mean, they're so good at recognizing the situation and getting control of it quickly. I doubt that mom is in that position, but I'm just saying that, you can't have every situation is different, okay? And you can't have a blanket solution to every situation. I know it's good to talk about on the radio and stuff like that, to have those blanket solutions, black or white. But I mean, it depends on the person, depends on the baby, depends on so much comes into play.
You sound like a parent instead of just a person.
You
can't separate yourself. You just can't. It's impossible for you to separate yourself.
No, it's not.
Which is kind of weird. It's kind of weird that you can't separate
you are talking about it. And I'm telling you, it is not. It is not that way. It just depends on the situation. What's the party? Is it just hanging around playing games, or is it going out to the bars, clubbing? You know, I mean, there's different situations.
Those strippers, the whole thing.
Yeah, right.
I'm bringing my baby. Well, I don't
be there. I don't think you would do that if that was the case.
Banana straps in my face or whatever they're called. Colin agrees with me. He says he likes to go to the Elks because they have certain areas of the Elks that are adults only. No one under 18 is allowed. In the sauna, it's probably a good idea.
Yes.
Bunch of old guys sitting in there.
I just think of that scene in Everybody Loves Raymond. When Raymond's going through his midlife crisis and he thinks he's older than he is, and he has to go sit in that sauna. Oh, man.
With his dad and his friends. Oh, God. Quiet Riot Ozzy coming up after the break. It's 8:21.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe to the podcast on Google, Apple, YouTube by clicking on Jeff and Jeremy at KZOZ.com.
All right, Jeff and Jeremy here. It's KZOZ. Sorry about that. Online at KZOZ.com. I want to say congratulations again going out to Mike Quick of Orchids, our Week 18 winner. We'll have a Week 19 winner tomorrow. And how are we doing on the picks this week? Save Jeremy's season. The Chargers, they lost, so you missed that one. What else did you miss, Jeff? You missed Pittsburgh, Baltimore. You picked Baltimore. Okay, you got that one right. You got Buffalo. You missed Green Bay.
Yes, I did. And no, Jordan Love was just going to go turn into an interception machine.
You really stunk it up.
I did. Dude, that game last night, okay, all the rest of the games were terrible. They were horrible games. They were bad games, bad football games. That game last night was awesome, and that's what you bargain for when you get Tampa Bay and Washington.
It was amazing. And, you know, Johnny's going to feel like he blew that. He's going to feel like he totally blew it.
Zane Gonzales, the kicker, hit the upright and went boom. And you thought, oh, this is bouncing back out, and it sneaks in.
Last time Washington won a wild card game.
I was sitting there with a friend watching this game, getting ready to go home. And I'm like, oh, my God, he's going to hit it. It's going to bounce out. We're going to go to overtime. I'm never going to get to bed tonight. And, oh, my God, it goes up and hits, and then it almost.
It just sneaks through. I mean, how close does the game get any closer than that?
No, it's a great game. Best game of the weekend. Did you see the guy walking out there? How many times he played with his hair? Like he just kept. It's almost like he had like some OCD thing where he had to rub his head 20 times. He kept trying to fix his hair, and then they showed him after the game. I don't know if you saw the post game. He was messing with his sock. Like he had like some kind of part of his sock was just a little bit like touching his toe weird, or like it was bunched up, and he kept taking his shoe off and fixing it, his kicking foot. It was just like, oh my God, this guy's a head case.
So
this guy is that's probably the worst thing to be as a head case as a kicker, because all you have to do, it's a lot of pressure. You don't need to be a head case, you just got to. But he lucked out.
When I was in high school, Chris Jackson, who later on was Mahmoud Abdul Rahif or something like that. He changed his name. But Chris Jackson, when he was at LSU,
sorry, Miss Jackson.
He played with Shaquille O'Neal, and but then he had OCD like that, and it was the craziest thing because the Sonics were playing the Rockets in a playoff series, which the Sonics ended up winning the playoff series. But the Rockets needed a gymnasium to practice in, and we had just built a new gymnasium at our high school. It was a really nice gym. And so the Rockets asked, we're right by the airport. The Rockets asked if they could use our gymnasium for practice for shoot around, before the game. And our administration allowed them to do that. But they said, hey, is it okay if, the kids are invited to watch you guys practice? And we got to watch them practice. But Chris Jackson had this OCD thing where Rudy Tomjanovich would ask him. He would say, "Okay, come on, bring it in," and he would ignore him. He would ignore him for two things in particular. He'd sit there, and I don't know what the consecutive amount of shots he would have to hit before he would go in and be with the rest of the team. But he's like, "Okay, guys, bring it in," and Rudy wouldn't push it with Mahmoud Abdul Rahim or Rahif, or I forget what it was. He should have stuck.
I think
stuck
you're
with
doing
Chris
pretty
Jackson.
good with it. I mean, just
and I don't know like what. So like he would call him in, and then Chris Jackson or Mahmoud Abdul Rahif was allowed to do his thing while everybody else was sitting there talking. And sometimes it would go a minute or 2 minutes. Once it was tying and untying his shoes, he would tie him, untie him, tie him, untie him, tie him, untie him, tie him, untie him. 15 times. And then another time it was shooting shots, and like he had a certain count that he had to get to. And if he didn't get to that count, he had to make that count, and then he'd run over when he was done. Like he was counting it in his head. That's the one. Like I watched one of the greatest basketball teams of all time practice, and that's the only thing I could focus on. was Mahmoud Abdul Rahif. I mean, Akeem Olajuwon was there. I mean, but I like focus. I was like, what is this guy doing? And I'm like,
so weird.
A 16-year-old kid at the time, and I'm just like sitting there focusing on this guy's like, what is he doing? It's the craziest thing. So it sounds like the kicker must have something going on like that. You would think he would have been a lot closer. He would have nailed it right down the middle if he would have been able to do his routine correctly.
It would have crushed him, I bet, if he would have missed that. By the way, Jason Moore of Arroyo Grande, outside of that Chargers game, perfect this week and saved Jeremy's season. He's got Baltimore, Buffalo, Philly, Washington, and if Minnesota wins tonight, he will go 5-1.
Wow.
Which will launch me ahead of you in the standings.
He wins regardless. If he's 5-1.
Yeah.
If he goes 4-2, he wins.
Yeah, he's going to win the $50 to the poorhouse, $50 to be right there heating and air. But remember, both Leslie and Patrick said they would throw another 100 on top of it if anybody went perfect, and he'd be one off if Minnesota wins tonight.
Dang.
So close. The Chargers, jokers.
Oh, man. They got obliterated.
Choking big.
Jordan Love and Herbert, Justin Herbert, man. They didn't live up to their preseason hype yet over the weekend.
Brandon writes in, he says on the 805 Beer text lines, he says, Chris Jackson had Tourette's too.
Oh, yeah, you could see that. I mean, it was like either it was extreme OCD or it was like, like I know that works into it too. It was crazy, great basketball player. I remember being a fan of his when he was in college. I was just like, dude, this guy's nuts. Great shooter.
Maybe he was able to, funnel that energy into something positive.
Yeah. Oftentimes they do. I mean, look at Rain Man, right? Like he counted toothpicks.
Tom Petty and Rolling Stones. That was a movie, right? It wasn't a true story?
Based on a true story. Based on many true stories. Well, no, I don't know how true it was.
I know.
But they can high function. Well, look at Elon Musk. He's Asperger's.
I hear that, but I've never actually sat down in a room with him, so I wouldn't know if he's odd or not.
Well, when he talks, he's odd, don't you think? I mean,
everybody's a little odd though when they sound a little different.
Really? Time flies when you're having fun, huh?
I know.
Jeez.
Yeah, they sure do. Unfortunately, now not talking about fun, but talking about community. Suzanne just popped in. She was out helping this weekend with collecting donations for the Los Angeles fires. The latest 24 people last night have they found so far, just terrible. Over $150 billion estimated. You see the pictures, and I can't even imagine. I'm actually at a point now where I don't even want to drive down there. Like, it's that bad.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. There's a lot of places down there that my younger childhood was spent living down in San Fernando Valley, and I know that's not exactly what's been like really on fire lately, but there's just so many places down and around there that we used to like go and visit. We went out to the Malibu beaches all the time when we were kids. And it's just so sad to see that. I mean, like my mom had friends that lived in a gated community in Malibu, right across the street from Dick Van Dyke. That whole place is burned. Just so crazy. And so it's really sad to see all of that from my, personal perspective, but also just like, as a human being, to watch that happen to other people is just, it's heart wrenching. And I know, for a lot of us up here, we're like, what can we do to help? I feel so like helpless. And then you start feeling guilty that you can't do anything or whatever. Right. So that's what it was so intriguing about this story with the Perfetto Cafe and Christian, the young student that was organizing this with his bosses there. And I just really felt strongly to get out there and help this weekend. And, I only had a couple hours, but I went out there. I was sorting through clothes with them, getting it all boxed up and ready to go. They had a huge, I think it was a 30 or 40 foot U-Haul. And it was like 2/3 full when I was leaving, and people were still driving in and dropping stuff off. And at some point too that day, that was just yesterday, it seems like so long ago, that, they at some point had to turn away some clothing donations because there just wasn't room.
Wow.
And that sucked, but then we were trying to figure out other places that people could take that. And, other than that, it was a really great day. I mean, just such a good vibe. So Christian Scott is this, young student. He just moved down to the Central Coast from Tahoe last year, and he's already digging into the community, doing some good stuff. The owners of Perfetto Cafe, Jamie and Brian, they're a couple. They were just amazing. And by the way, I don't know if you guys remember talking to Robin from Woods about a dog named Alfie in recent months. He was like a little, looked like a pit bull, maybe lab mix. And he was out there. Yeah. The owners of Perfetto Cafe adopted that dog. Hey. And I was like, that dog looks familiar. Did you get that at Woods? And they were like, oh yeah, totally. And his name is now Bean, as in coffee bean, because cafe. Okay. And how cute is that?
Good name for a dog.
Yeah.
The one syllable is the way to go.
Yeah. Well, I guess too, before he was at Woods and Alfie, his name was actually Coffee Bean. So I think it was like meant to be that they ended up owning that dog. But yeah, so it was a really good day. Saw some people came out. The people that were organizing the event too, they said a lot of people from radio came out. So shout out to the KZOZ fam for showing up. That's amazing.
Good job, people.
No, it was good. I mean, the Pastoral School District contacted us. They had a bunch of N95 masks. And then there was somebody else that called that said they had cases and cases of it on Friday, and I can't remember who it was, and we got them connected. And so, yeah, it was just, it's good to see, that people are coming together to do good, and hopefully that will help some people out. I mean, but it's just, like I said, I it's like you see it on TV, but I can't imagine seeing it in person. It's it's probably so bad.
It's crazy. And I saw Rhonda. She said to stop calling her Kamalama Ding Dong.
Okay.
She was laughing about it, though. It wasn't.
Well, at least she was there doing good.
She was. She dropped off a bunch of stuff and kind of hung out for a little bit. And
You earned nicknames on this show, Rhonda. You know that.
That's what I told her. I'm like,
she was donating. She was donating and helping out.
Yeah, she was. And I told her, hey, you know what? If they gave you a nickname, it means they like you.
Okay, so sure. and the nickname has changed. It's Rhonda the Do-Gooder.
Yeah,
so
nice.
There we go.
I love it. I love it.
Can we do a Kama Mama? Wait,
no.
Ding Dong.
I'm glad.
Can we at least do Ding Dong at the end? I really like the way it flowed.
Do-Gooder Ding Dong. Okay, yeah, that works.
Do-Gooder Ding Dong. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I love it.
Just having a little fun.
And then, man, so much stuff. I could keep talking for hours, but, Cello Bob, who plays in Carbon City Lights, he's like a local musician that shows up literally at every show and just like kills it on the cello. He and his wife came out and helped out for a little while yesterday too. So it was a great day.
So what now? They're taking this stuff down today, right? That was the plan.
Yeah, so they were leaving early this morning. They had 4 different shelter locations that they were in contact with. A lot of places actually aren't taking donations right now because they've been so overwhelmed with it, which is a great thing. So yeah, they had these 4 places that are still taking donations, and especially like the clothing and stuff. I know they're taking a lot of stuff like water and food and hygiene items at like multiple locations, but for the clothing and stuff, bedding. So yeah, they're going down, they're going to drop it all off, and they're just doing a down and back. So they're going to be back today. I told Christian it'd be cool to like follow up with him and just, see how the trip down went and stuff. And I can't imagine because they're going to see some stuff for sure.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
Yeah, but it was just, it was a good feeling. And, hopefully, we helped in our small way with that truck going down and, like a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the thing. If there's more to do, I mean, and people let us know and we'll promote what you're doing and hopefully we can get to be successful as this one was.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so it was a good feeling. I've been really like ramping up in like my volunteer stuff in life, and it feels really good. Highly recommend. And even if it's not that, find something that you are into and like connect with them. So there's a lot of stuff you can do to help out around here, and it's great.
Well, and on that note, tomorrow is National Mentor Day, and we're going to be talking to the Slow Bigs people, and maybe if you have time to mentor a young person, that's a great way to give back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can't do mentorship, on an ongoing basis, you can always volunteer at an event and stuff like that with them too. So yeah.
All right.
Or just give them money.
Excellent.
They like that too.
That's true too. I mean, ultimately there is that. They, every nonprofit needs funding for sure.
Right.
But if you can't, not everyone has, deep pockets or, most of us have shallow pockets.
Yes.
So time is another great way to get back.
Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 01111 911.